Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, November 19th, and we're certainly pleased to have everybody here tonight. We'll start our meeting with a roll call of your City Council.
Council members Aguilar.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Intamin. Erpenbach.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Karski.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Thank you very much. In the City of Sioux Falls, we start our City Council meetings with an invocation, with a prayer. And Dr. Ron Tottingham, he's been here often to lead us in prayer, and we're blessed by that. He's from Empire Baptist Temple. What we'd ask you to do is to stand, and then after the doctor is done with the prayer, we'll then say our Pledge of Allegiance. Again, Doctor, welcome.
I want to take this moment to tell all the commissioners how much I appreciate you. And this is the greatest city in the world. In July, I was in two islands in the Philippines and in Korea and in Russia. And coming home and knowing that you're running this town is a blessing to me. Our Father, thank you tonight for your great blessings to us. Thank you for our city. Thank you for these folks who are willing to sacrifice their time and all the things, certainly more time than what they get paid for, to help us have a town that we have, a city that is blessed as our city is. Thank you for the openness that we have, that we can have a crowd that comes here and view their opinions and all the other things like that. And I pray tonight that you would bless us again in this meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. I do have a proclamation that I'd like to read on behalf of the people of Sioux Falls. Mel, are you here on this? Come on up. Welcome. Would you mind introducing yourself to the folks of our town, please?
I'm Tamara Yerke-Liesinger. I'm the director of the banquet.
I'm Melanie Bliss. I'm the coordinator of the Sioux Empire Homeless Coalition.
Well, thank you both for being here tonight. We appreciate it. The proclamation reads, whereas on any given night in the city of Sioux Falls, there are homeless men, women, and children in need of shelter and services. Whereas homeless individuals and families lack a fixed, regular, and adequate residence. They live in shelters, transitional living facilities, or in places not designated for living accommodations, or they are at risk of being displaced from their residence. Whereas ending homelessness is critical to the vitality of families, businesses, and, yes, the Sioux Falls community. Whereas there are many organizations committed to sheltering and providing supportive services as well as meals and food supplies to the homeless, and they are taking steps to end homelessness and hunger. Now, therefore, I, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim November, this month, November 2013, as Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Month in the City of Sioux Falls, and encourage all residents to recognize the need for services for the homeless and hungry in Sioux Falls, and to support those organizations working to meet these needs. Let's give a round of applause to these folks. Well, thank you all. If you can see on TV tonight, if you scan the audience, we've got one of the bigger crowds we've had in a long time. I will recognize at least the scout troops will start first. And I had the opportunity to engage these young men for about a half hour. They asked me some really, really tough questions, but they're here tonight in the spirit of learning. So if you wouldn't mind, the troop leaders as well as the Boy Scouts, I know that we've got Boy Scout Troop 731. Are there others as well? There are. 346. Great. We've got 346 and Troop 731 here. Men and leaders, if you wouldn't mind standing, we'd appreciate that. Welcome. And then, Counselor, are there USF students here tonight?
Yes, there are several.
There are. USF students, even though you're a little older than the Boy Scouts, you need to stand too. We want to thank you for being here tonight. Welcome. Keep learning. Well, very good. Council, we'll now move to our regular meeting. We'll start with our consent agenda. Any changes?
Move approval, Aguilar.
Second, Karski.
Councilor Aguilar has made a motion to approve our consent agenda. It was seconded by Councilor Karski. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Thank you. Now move to our regular agenda. Council, any changes to the agenda tonight?
Move to approve.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor James has made a motion to approve our agenda tonight, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 7-0. Again, welcome. As I told the Scouts, there is an opportunity where the people of Sioux Falls have an opportunity to engage the council. This is it, man. All we'd ask you to do is come forward. You can speak on any topic you want. Just two rules. We ask you to keep it to 5 minutes or less, and we want you to introduce yourself to the people of our town. Would anybody want to speak? Well, thank you. We're glad to have you here anyway. Thanks for being here. We're now going to move on to item number 21.
New 2014 retail liquor license, including Sunday sales and video lottery terminals for Paul Saxon, Bog Trotters Pub, Grub, and Tap to be operated at 201 East 11th Street with a conditional use permit 2012-1115 being approved on January 9, 2013, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 22, rescind 2013-14 retail malt beverage license for Paul Saxon, Bog Trotters Pub, Grub, and Tap to be operated 201 East 11th Street effective January 1st, 2014. Item 23, new 2014 package liquor license for Dominique Fontenelle Liquid Warehouse to be operated at 230 South Phillips Avenue, Suite 100. Item 24, transfer of 2013 retail wine license from Samdang Sheng Saram Ouch Phnom Phin Restaurant to Saram Ouch Phnom Phin Restaurant Asian Cuisine be operated at 1010 North Minnesota Avenue with the special use permit 2005-0306 being approved on May 13, 2005. Item 25, transfer of 2013-2014 retail malt beverage license from Samdang Sheng and Saram Ouch Phnom Phin Restaurant to Saram Ouch Phnom Phin Restaurant Asian Cuisine to be operated at 1010 North Minnesota Avenue with a special use permit 2005-0306 being approved on May 13, 2005. Item 26, transfer of 2013 retail wine license from Jerry Van Lowe Jackie's Restaurant and Bakery to Everlinda Van Lowe and Jackie's Restaurant and Bakery to be operated at 702 East 8th Street with a conditional use permit 2006-0202 being approved on April 5, 2006. Item 27, transfer of 2013-2014 retail malt beverage license from Jerry Van Lowe Jackie's Restaurant and Bakery to Everlinda Van Lowe Jackie's Restaurant and Bakery to be operated at 702 East 8th Street with a conditional use permit 2006-0202 being approved on April 5, 2006. Item 28, renewal of 2014 retail wine license for Everlinda Van Lowe Jackie's Restaurant and Bakery to be operated at 702 East 8th Street. Item 29, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Catering America, Inc., Chef Dominique's to be operated at Nordic Venture Partners, 221 South Phillips Avenue, Suite 202, for a holiday party open house on December 5th, 2013. Item 30, special one-day malt beverage, special one-day wine license for Hy-Vee, Inc., all occasions by Hy-Vee, to be operated at The Point is to Serve Church, 506 North Kiwanis Avenue for a holiday party on December 7th, 2013. Item 31. Special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Avera McKinnon Foundation be operated at Avera Behavioral Health, 4400 West 69th Street, for the Hearts is Healing fundraiser on February 1st, 2014. Item 32. Special one-day liquor license for Avera McKinnon Foundation to be operated at Avera Prairie Center, 1000 East 23rd Street, for the Big Grape fundraiser on April 11th, 2013.
Great job. I think it's the most we've ever had. Great job. Thank you.
I apologize for any mispronunciations.
Did well. You did well. Our town is becoming more diverse. Yes. Jamie, welcome.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. Items 21 and 22 are tied together in that he has applied for a retail liquor license, and therefore he has to rescind, we have to rescind the retail malt beverage license, so those two are tied together. Item 23 is a new packaged liquor license request, and they will be doing it on an on-order basis only to accompany their catering business, and there will be no alcohol on site as per usual for a packaged liquor license. Items 24 and 25 are simple transfers. One partner has decided to buy the other out. 26 through 28 are tied together in that there's the first two are simple transfers. The husband is transferring it to the wife because she's the primary operator of the business. And 28 is the renewal of the wine license. 29 through 32 are a special one-day license for various events throughout the city.
Thanks, Jamie. Councilors, any comments, questions? Yes, Councilor Bach.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jamie, could you, this is just something I've not seen before, so I'm just curious. Items 24 and 25 are based on a special use permit, and then item 26 is a conditional use permit. We've seen conditional use permits. I don't recall a special use permit. Can you give us what's the difference?
I might have to have planning do that.
Oh, okay.
Someone from planning here.
Jason Bieber with the Planning Department. Special use permit is pretty similar to a conditional use. The only difference is it's in a planned development district. So any kind of an on-sale alcohol establishment is required to get a special use permit when you're zoned a PD.
Great.
That's the only difference.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I would move approval on all those items.
Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Bach's made a motion to approve all these items, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If there are no further questions, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 33.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 7901 Southwestern Avenue from the AG Agricultural District in Windswept Timber Estates PD District to the RS1 Residential District and RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2013-08-12, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Jason Bieber with the Planning Department. This is a request by Joel McDowell to rezone approximately 4.9 acres from the Agricultural District and the Windswept Timber Estates PD to the RS1 Single Family and the RC Recreational Conservation District. It is located on Southwestern Avenue just south of West 85th Street. And the purpose of the rezoning is so the applicant can construct a single-family home in the northwest quarter of the 4.9 acres.
Jason, thank you. Council, any questions on this? Would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, December 3rd for item 33?
So moved, Karski.
Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Karski's made a motion to set that date of hearing, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 34.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of the city on Chapter 38, Elections.
All right. Hi, Lori Hogstead, City Clerk, City of Sioux Falls. I am here tonight to present the changes to the election ordinance. These changes are going to comply with Senate Bill 200, which was passed in this last legislative session in 2013, and the provisions regard campaign finance. And I will note that our city ordinances mirror the state election laws pretty much verbatim. And so those are the changes we're going to make to the proposed changes on the first reading tonight. First of all, two of the sections, 38006 and 38008, both deal with the statement of organization, which is really the first step for any candidate to file when they officially become a candidate, or a political action committee must file when they meet certain criteria, and or a ballot question committee. And we are now going to put into our ordinance that these may be filed electronically. Just the state law did that. It's just ease for the citizens and the candidates that they can file these electronically. The primary changes on this are tied to two different sections, 38016 and 38017, and these both deal with communications, so funds that are raised for communications. And these tie specifically to any contributions or funds that would be raised. The way the ordinance currently reads is that the amount that has to be reported is anything over $2,000. That has been dropped significantly now to $100. So anything $100 or more that is contributed specifically for a communication needs to be reported individually and needs to be reported within 48 hours of receipt. So that's a big change, and that also includes in-kind contributions. For instance, if someone would donate airtime or donate some signs or something along those lines, that would also have to be reported. The main difference between the two sections, 38016, the heading reads that this is for advocating for or against a candidate, office holder, or ballot question. And then 38017 is communications identifying a candidate or office holder, but not advocating election or defeat. So that's the main difference. The first one is you're taking a side to an issue or a candidate or whatever the case may be. The second one, you're simply you're really not advocating defeat or election, but you're just simply providing money for communications identifying a candidate or office holder. And then the last section that I just wanted to mention was the section 38, let's see, it was 38033, which ties into the Board of Ethics. And this change was actually previously made, but in the transition we made this past year in our municipal code recodification, huge project, it somehow got missed getting recodified, and we are just going back and making those changes. And what it will state is that there's two types of potential violations, which requires two different types of investigations. And it does state that the city attorney would investigate violations of the provisions of this chapter, meaning anything in the elections chapter, for any persons not currently holding an elected office within the city. And on the other hand, the Sioux Falls Board of Ethics would investigate and make recommendations on any possible violations of the election chapter relating to current city elected officials. And then the action would be brought forth by the city attorney in the county where the person resides, etc. So that change was previously made, but like I mentioned, was missed in the recodification, so we'll make sure that that is included in this version when we send it in for coding. We would request that second reading be held on December 3rd, and as a result, this would be effective on December 27th, just prior to the end of the year, and that's really when the financial campaign reports kick off, is right after the first of the year. So this is perfect timing. I can take any questions you may have.
Lori, thank you.
Yes.
Councilor Stragers?
Yes, Lori. I was wondering about this contribution to communication. Exactly what does that mean? Well, now, if somebody would donate $1,000 to my campaign for office, whatever that might be,
Correct.
And they don't designate it for communication. I don't have to report it right away, right?
No, you would not. I thought of that scenario too, that if you received a donation, but if someone specifically gives you a contribution and says, you know, I want you to use this for advertising, I want you to use this for billboards, I want you to use this for signage, whatever, TV commercials, then you would need to report that right away. And maybe I could defer that to City Attorney Fifley if you chose to later use some of those contribution dollars for communications, how that would need to be reported.
If I may, Mayor, I think what the two changes are is not involving the candidate's activity regarding campaign fundraising for communications, but others doing a communication for you. So either one of the ordinances regards advocating for that person, and then like a person or an organization that's not affiliated with a candidate making a communication, they have to report it. And likewise, the other one is it's one either an advocacy type communication, and the other one is a political committee, organization, person, or political party that's making a communication. Sorry, so I don't think it would apply to the candidate himself or herself.
Okay, that simplifies things in an already complicated situation when you run for office. So thank you.
Councilor Buck.
Lori, I know we talked about this in an informational meeting, but let's talk again about us continually having to update this ordinance when it mirrors virtually word for word state statute. At what point do we say, you know what, refer to state law, and that's how we're running?
You know, that's a great question, and we did talk about that. There's very little in our Chapter 38 that really does not mirror the state laws. We have just a few sections, you know, of course, our precincts and identifying our districts. And we have just a little bit to do with, of course, with our Board of Ethics and things that are specific to the city. But, you know, we could take that whole chapter and probably have it down to 2 or 3 pages. And City Attorney Fifley and I have talked about that in an off-election year, we would like to go through that, remove anything that's a duplication of state law, and just simply say, you know, all financial candidate statements, or however we would word it, you know, that you would reference the state law and we could reference where that would be. It would really simplify things because, you know, we cite our city ordinance, but then I also have all the sites for the state law, and it really says the same thing. I mean, sometimes you have to, it may talk about the Secretary of State, and in a municipality that would mean me, and you know, and that type of thing, but it would really make it a lot easier for, not only for the staff, but for the candidates. I can imagine, you know, they're looking at 2 different things and trying to figure out what they're supposed to follow, and then, oh, well, these read identical, so why do we have both? Mm-hmm. So that's definitely something that Dave and I will be working on.
Good. And I personally would endorse that. I just think it doesn't make sense for us, especially if the legislature is going to continue to make changes, and they will.
Of course,
you know,
they
times
will.
change. Mm-hmm. So it'd be great to not have to do this every time they do that.
Yeah,
So.
and I failed to mention that the other thing that we follow also are the South Dakota administrative rules, which are adopted by the Board of Elections. And that language we do not incorporate. Rather, that is, you know, the petition forms and the forms for the financial statements and those types of things that we follow anyway, because we follow their administrative rules. We use the forms that they, you know, ask of us to use. And even when I've been working in updating the financial statements, and hopefully we'll be finished with those in the next couple of weeks, I've used the exact model that the state has and just made it fit ours, some of the language to fit ours. And we were pretty close, but I just thought let's just make it a replication of what they're doing. You know, they've worked to get these forms put in the right order. Let's just use what they have.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Council, good discussion. Roll call vote, please. No, we need a motion to, and the motion will be we're setting a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, December 3rd for item 34.
So moved, Erpenbach.
Second, Rolf.
Councilor Erpenbach, thank you very much. Councilor Rolfing, thank you very much. We've got a motion. It's been seconded. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 35.
It's the first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations for the police, $140,000.
Good evening, Doug Barthel, Police Chief. You You might recall back first part of the year, I believe it was in February, when I met with the fiscal committee and talked about our pending situation for 2014 with a large number of retirements that we had anticipated. Right now, we've got at least 13 that have committed, 7 of which are going to go in January. But because of that, we had expressed our desire to do some hiring ahead because of the 8-month period that it takes just to train a police officer, so we could at least get some officers hired in front of all those vacancies so we wouldn't be completely shorthanded. So at that point, we had said that the worst case scenario was we'd be about $500,000 short at the end of the year, although there's other attrition that occurs throughout the year and other vacancies and so forth where we knew it wouldn't quite be that. But so that brings us to today. We've been working with finance and working on projections till the end of the year, and anticipate that we'll be about 140,000 short is what we'll need to help cover that. So this would help provide with the supplement. Be happy to answer any questions.
You, Chief. Council, would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, December 3rd for item 35?
So move. Second, Jameson.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to set that date of hearings. Councilor Jameson has seconded it. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. USF students and Cub Scouts, if you're wondering why no one else has had an opportunity to speak on these items, these were first readings. The council will hear the dialogue first, then they'll set a date for the second reading. At the second reading, then the public has an opportunity to get involved even more in this issue, as well as engage the council. Item 36.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2013-09-16. Pools.
Jason Bieber at the Planning Department. This is an application by Steve Van Buskirk to annex in approximately 1.1 acres of land. It is located on the north side of West 12th Street and west of the Ellis Road. This particular property will then become part of the Cherry Lake Reserve development.
Jason, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to speak to this item? Council?
Move approval, Karski.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve item 36, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Yes, Councilor Anderson Jr. Yes, sir.
When we first looked at this development, wasn't there some concerns about drainage?
Yeah, the neighbors to the south did have some concerns about drainage. Mr. Van Buskirk has been going through the preliminary subdivision plans and development engineering for those single-family lots that you can see on the map, and I believe they've been working with the neighbors on the drainage concerns. They've started construction of probably like 4 or 5 houses out there.
Have you seen any issues since that construction has happened?
I haven't heard any with the neighbors or any of our contacts down there that we had at the previous meeting when they were going through the big annexation of this property.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor, thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 37.
A resolution establishing the city of Sioux Falls legislative priorities for the 2014 state legislative session.
Good evening, Council. Jim David, Council staff. Each year, the City Council identifies its legislative priorities for the City of Sioux Falls prior to the start of the South Dakota legislature. These priorities are then communicated to members of the Sioux Falls area legislative delegation by both verbally and by mail. The 2014 priorities, as proposed, currently include 5 items, 3 of which are actually carried over from last year. These include the first item is in support of home rule and local control. The second item extends the number of months that an alcohol violation can be considered, or an underage alcohol violation can be considered when it comes to suspension or revocation of a business's license. The third item supports legislation giving municipalities the ability to restrict firearms in the place where the governing body meets and also the offices where the city houses its employees. There are also two new items. These items include restricting the use of the carrier license, which currently allows alcohol to be served in taxi cabs. And then the final item supports a statewide texting ban. I'd be happy to entertain any of your questions.
Thank you, Jim. Would anybody in the audience want to speak to these items before I go to the council? Councilors? Councilor Staggers.
Yes, my primary concern with these different items is primarily number one, dealing with the city council wants to go on record opposing any legislation that restricts local control over taxation and spending. In other words, we want to have total say over taxation. I don't think that's ever good. The more restrictions that we have on taxation, the better. And here in Sioux Falls, we have plenty of taxes to take care of our revenue, so I'm not in favor of that part. And there's also a few other items here too, but primarily that reason is why I'm going to be voting against it.
Councilor, thank you. Councilor Jameson.
Jim, help me out on that one. That number one, isn't that just regarding local control over taxation? It isn't over all taxing that occurs in the city. Are we clarified?
Yeah, this language actually came about from, it's probably about 3 or 4 years old, and it's just been carried over throughout the years. And this just is, again, it's seeking local control over taxation and spending. It's really a statement, I think, to the South Dakota legislature saying, no more or, no more further restrictions on the municipality's ability to operate. As some might have some history on taxation, I think the lodging tax, for example, was one of those taxes that was done under home rule until the legislature came in and slapped the hand, and Sioux Falls' power to tax lodging was actually grandfathered in. So,
Councilor Urbanbach.
I would just add that first item, I've always seen that as our support of the South Dakota Municipal League, who works so hard for us in terms of municipal policy and those local control issues. And it really mirrors almost identical to policy statements, umbrella statements from the Municipal League. And so I'd encourage your support. It's something that we've had several years in a row, and it's important to us as a community.
Councilor Staggers.
Yeah, if I could just say finally about the taxation issue, the more restrictions we have on taxation with the city of Sioux Falls, the better it is for the citizens of Sioux Falls too.
Yeah, this document is really the city council's document. It's part of the deliberative process right now for you to discuss amongst yourselves and amend if necessary. So,
Big Jim. Good discussion. A roll call vote, please. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Jameson.
Yeah, I don't know that we've made a motion to approve it yet or not, but you can see Jim's very well trained in his delicate dance of this situation. He's doing well. I had to bring up, I'll just bring it up as far as our open discussion on this, was the local control out of item number one, and then our last item on here about the statewide texting ban just seems to conflict with me a little bit. We all want local control, and I'm sure Aberdeen, Mitchell, Watertown, all those guys want it too. But then we want to, at the end of our list here, say we support a statewide texting ban. Certainly we've seen the benefits of it, I guess, but we're not allowing them to make that decision on their own, or at least we're not proposing that they do. So that's a little conflict for me.
Councilor Karski.
And I would echo Councilor Jameson's concerns there. Every one of these talks about local control, and all of a sudden we want to give up local control. We passed a texting ban here. I don't know if a texting ban is right for Newell, South Dakota, or for, Lemon, South Dakota. It should be up to each community to decide if they want to enforce or impose a texting ban within their municipality, and I will be moving to amend our resolution on this.
Council, would anybody want to make a motion to at least get this thing going?
So moved, Aguilar.
Second, Urbanbach.
Councilor Aguilar has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Urbanbach. Any discussion or motions? Councilor Karski.
Make a motion that we remove or amend the resolution by removing the Sioux Falls City Council supports legislation adopting a statewide ban for text-based communication while operating a motor vehicle.
Second.
There has been a motion to amend the resolution, and it has been seconded. And basically, we're removing the support of the statewide texting ban to simplify it. Councilor Urbanbach.
I would just reiterate again that that all of these items actually are included in South Dakota Municipal League policies as well that have already been voted by that board. We're really mirroring those things that we're in solidarity with other municipalities in the state. Yeah, it's staying statewide. We're saying we support it, you know, that we would lobby for it, that the Municipal League wouldn't lobby for it if it were something that were happening. Yeah, I see that balance that you're talking about, but I also think that, I mean, if you go policy by policy with Municipal League and they're split half and half, some of them are local control, some of them are things that we want the state to do, and it's just the way the legislature works.
Councilor Karski.
Jim David, if you don't mind, is that in the Municipal League?
There is language in there right now that supports any laws that restrict distracted driving. And last year, the Municipal League used that language to lobby on behalf of the statewide texting ban. So they have more general language, but it opposes distracted driving, supports legislation restricting it.
Well, very good. We do have a motion to amend this item. We've had some discussion. Let's vote. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar?
No.
Anderson?
No.
Erpenbach?
No.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
No.
Staggers?
Yes.
That is failed 3-4. We now still have a resolution. Any further motions? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
That is passed 6-1. Item 38.
A resolution amending the City of Sioux Falls engineering design standards.
That's from you, isn't it, Rex?
Good evening. Jeff Delories from the Engineering Division of Public Works. Tonight, the engineering design standards, we are here to adopt some changes, or hope that you adopt these changes. The engineering design standards are the standards followed for the construction of public improvements. These standards are generally reviewed annually and revised accordingly if necessary. Ordinance 96.025 requires the City Council to approve the standards by resolution. These proposed revisions have been approved by the Infrastructure Review Advisory Board and recommended by the Council's Land Use Committee that we met with here on October 15. Tonight we have revisions to the chapters dealing with sanitary sewers and water mains, chapters 9 and 10 respectively. The primary revision to the sanitary sewers is to require external frame seals and joint seals on all manholes to reduce infiltration and inflow into the sanitary sewer system. The existing standard requires external frame seals on manholes in concrete streets and unpaved areas now. The proposed requirement is that external frame seals and joint seals are required on all manholes. I'm showing you in a picture up here right now of what a external frame seal is. And go to the next one, Jeff. This is an external joint seal. The purpose of these seals are to reduce the amount of clean water entering the sanitary sewer system thus reducing the costs associated with pumping and treating this clean water. This requirement will add approximately $600 to the cost of a manhole, but the city will realize a net savings on treatment costs in as little as 5 years. Currently, external joint seals are installed on all CIP projects now, and many developers install them to assist in passing the manhole leakage vacuum test requirement. So we're basically following what's already happening in operation in the field right now. And in Chapter 10, water mains, the primary revision to Chapter 10, water mains, is the removal of standards regarding firefighting operations. These standards are regulated by the National Fire Prevention Association and are included in their codes. The city's Fire Prevention Division reviews all fire systems during the plan review process now. The purpose of this revision or reduction in language in the engineering design standards is to reduce any possible confusion if the NFPA, the Fire Protection Association standards, are revised and our engineering design standards are not changed accordingly. That way we don't have two sets of rules out there and confusion added to the developer or builder. And I have invited Jeff Dunn, our water engineer, and Dean Lanier, fire marshal, if you happen to have any questions on that. With that, we respectfully ask that you adopt the resolution tonight, approving these changes to the engineering design standards, chapters 9 and 10.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to speak to this item? Council, any questions of yes, Councilor Aguilar.
Just for public knowledge, how many manholes are we talking about for what total cost?
Well, we're not going to go and modify the existing manholes. The number of manholes, we talked about this last time. Do you have that, Councilor? It was in the thousands of numbers. I guess I do not have an exact number. I certainly can get that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe, Jeff, could you project how many do you think each year would be added to the system? Maybe that would be a logical question.
I would say we're probably in the low hundreds for something like that. Any new subdivision, the requirement would be there. And, of course, any of our CIP projects, we've already been, doing those manholes. So I'm just going to take a stab at it, probably in the low hundreds each and every year.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Council, good.
Move approval, Rolfing.
Thank you. Second. There has been a motion to approve it by Councilor Rolfing, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. If there is no discussion on roll call vote, please.
Council members Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Urbanbach,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Any new business, Council? Very good. Scouts, I estimated 40 minutes. We're at 42. So we did a good job. And I hope you enjoyed it. USF students, hope you enjoyed it. Council, a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
There's been a motion to adjourn by Councilor Jameson, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Sioux Falls. Make it a great evening. Thank you.